I got this RAV4. It's a 2017, and I got a radio system, a stereo system. I just installed it because the old system had in tune, and it's not updatable anymore. So it's discontinued. So I got a new radio system, and I researched how to get one where you could still use your steering wheel controls and a lot of the factory stuff. So I'll show you how to do that. But while doing this, I forgot to install the microphone, or I didn't know how to do the microphone, and also the antenna cord. So I've got to take it all apart, and what I'm gonna do is wire the microphone behind there, down through there, up through the A pillar, which has an airbag behind it, so that'll be fun, and then through there up to the microphone. This stereo receiver has wireless CarPlay, also obviously wired, so it takes a second to come on when it first starts, but it'll turn green in just a minute. There it goes. Okay, so now it turns on to Apple CarPlay, and you can also do it with a wire connection because it has a USB connector on there. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to do all that. So this is why I have to take it back out. The antenna, normally this is a good channel, and I'm not getting a signal. And before I was getting a really good signal before I changed the receiver. So I know it's the antenna cord I forgot to hook up. And then also, so when I press my microphone button on my steering wheel, it won't call Lisa. It won't pick it up. So, forgot to hook up the microphone too. Well, I didn't think I needed the microphone. It didn't say that the factory microphone wouldn't work anymore, but it doesn't, so that's a good thing to know. I looked through some forums. I did a lot of research on what kind of receiver I should get. I definitely wanted wireless Apple CarPlay, but I came across a forum that told me, on my car I have the bird's eye view, and if you don't get a module installed with the receiver, then you will lose your bird's eye view and your steering wheel controls. So I got on this website, it's Crutchfield, and I'll show you how I searched for it. On the left side of the Crutchfield homepage, you're going to go down to car audio, and then to car stereos, and then it's going to ask you what kind of car you have. So enter, Toyota RAV4 2017. Next, it's going to ask you if you have the JBL sound system in yours. I do have the JBL audio system, sound system, and this is how you tell. It's going to have that little red, this thing. Okay. Next, it's going to ask you what kind of receiver you're looking for. So I wanted the Apple CarPlay, so I clicked on that one. On the next screen, you're going to go to the left side to filter your results. So go down to where it says Apple CarPlay, and I clicked CarPlay Wireless, and then keep going down and pull down the iDatalink Ready and click Yes on that. Then it will give you a list of receivers that are compatible, and I chose the JVC KW M785BW. And in the middle of the page, it says, see the installation gear you'll need. So click on that. The next page is going to bring up the different options for packages. I wanted everything on there, so I chose the one on the left with the most features. So if you scroll down the page, it'll show you everything you're going to need for that receiver. And then if you keep scrolling down, it'll tell you like everything that will happen with this package and everything that won't. So you still got your steering wheel controls, all the way down most things. So you lose the Bluetooth in the auxiliary input, in the factory navigation, as well as the factory satellite radio. But that's all stuff that's still going to work with the package. This is a module, iDatalink module, and you're going to have to flash the module before you put it in your car. So to do that, you'll get some instructions in the box when it gets to you. So follow the instructions. You're going to have to sign in, create an account, sign in. Before you start flashing the iDatalink, the Maestro module, you want to make sure you get the serial number off the new receiver, which will either be on the side towards the bottom, or on top of the actual receiver, you'll see it. After you flash the module, it will email you some instructions on wiring and everything. So you're going to go down, it's like pages and pages of different ways to wire it based on what car you have. So scroll down to the Rav4 2017, and you'll see this wiring diagram, and there's a few things I'm going to point out to you in here. Right here where you connect, it's going to be the harness A, the 24 pin, and then the B, just throw it away or put it back in the box so you don't need it. Okay, so none of these are used, obviously. They're open connections, but so one says the mic is orange. The one under that is purple, and it actually has a purple connector on the end. That kind of confused me. And then there's another blue one that's not used. So this is where I get mixed up about the antenna. So down there near the bottom left, you see there's a power antenna. It's a blue and white wire, and that's not going to be used. Up on the right, you'll see another circled. So there's two wires there. One of them is actually not connected to one of the sides, and you have to splice the wire and put a connector on there and crimp it. And then that's going to be hooked into the antenna adapter on this blue wire. So you have to splice this blue wire as well and, crimp a connector and connect those two wires together. At the bottom of the wiring page, it says this piece of wiring is not used, but it actually was for me. It actually is for me. I didn't get any power to the receiver without it. So that comes off the harness, and it's going to be hooked into the module. And at the bottom of the page again, it says these aren't required, and they're not. They come in the box. They're not connected to anything, so that's pretty easy. But this is what they look like. I couldn't locate or identify this one, so it says it's not required anyway. So and my stereo still works, so I'm glad that's not required. This is everything I used to do this little operation. There's my lovely assistant. So a must-have is wire fishing tools. Okay, and there's some cool little attachments that come with it. There's a magnet in there, but this is what I use the most. Pull the cable through with that, and it's like 11 feet you can attach to each other, but you don't need that much, obviously. So that's a must-have. Okay, so I didn't show it was hard for me to film while I was doing this. So the airbag, the trim around the airbag, there's some clips that go in there. I'll link a video, but at the end of the video, you have to pull the clips out. At the end of the airbag, in order to get the clip out, you need some of these push pin pliers. My dog's stirring up right now. I use some tape to help with the microphone on top, and just to keep a piece in place so the wire wouldn't move around. Car trim removal tools. You need those. Terry cloth to put underneath the receiver while you're moving it in and out of the console, because you don't want to scratch the trim around that. A number 10 10mm socket. That's to unhook your battery, and it's for the car stereo, the bolts that hold that in. This can come in handy. It helps me a little bit. It's not really necessary, but it can come in handy. It can help you with the airbag clips as well. I use these to clean up my GPS. It was so long, the wire was so long that I tied it up to make it neater inside with some nail clippers to trim those. And then a flashlight helps with the airbag trim as well. Also, this helps me with the sun visor. I don't know if you can see it, and I forgot what kind of screwdriver or what kind of drive this is called, but it's T25. They all kind of look like stars, but it's T25. You're also going to need a wire splicer, some connectors, and a wire crimper. So I got these off Amazon. I'll leave a link below. The first thing I'm going to do is remove this top trim cover. So to do that, I start over on this side. And you kind of, I can't do this with one hand, but, oh, there you go. You kind of reach behind there and pull straight towards you. You're going to push, I can't do it with one hand, but start over there, and then you're going to work all the way to that side, and then you can pull that out. So there it is, got that out. Next, I'm going to remove the this top little part. Be very careful because the airbag sensor, the wire behind there, you don't want to disconnect that because it'll send the airbag a message. So anyway, the little clips are right back there. Got that side. Got that side. And then when you lift it up, you can see the cords, and you can just lay it on top. You don't have to disconnect it. Actually, as a matter of fact, don't disconnect it. I very loosely taped that up there because when I did this the first time, that kept falling down and making me nervous with that harness. So yeah, I just taped that up there. So next, you're gonna take a 10 millimeter socket wrench and undo all 4 of those bolts. Also, so when you're unscrewing these, I would make sure, do it very, like, get it loose and then do it by hand, because if you drop those in there, you're not gonna get them back. So I went ahead and pulled the trim cover off of that while I'm doing this. It hooks into those little clips on the side right there. When you're putting this new, so this is one of the parts you'll need actually. So when you're putting this new one in, you're gonna need to take those clips out of the old trim cover because they're not in it and they need to clip into these. So another thing I would do before you completely remove this is put a towel underneath this so that you don't scratch any of the trim underneath while you're taking it out. And also when you're reinstalling this, so it didn't sit straight in there at first, and I realized by like tightening one more and one less, like it'll kind of balance it. Like if you tighten one more, you have to balance it, like loosening and tightening on each side, and that'll help get it balanced. But anyway, now I can show you what I forgot to do on the first time. So the microphone, this is just the JVC model. I don't know about other receivers, but the microphone that's hooked into it, I didn't hook it up. So you do need to hook up the microphone that comes with your new receiver. So I'm about to do that. So the other thing I was talking about in the wiring diagram for the Maestro module, so this blue wire, okay, so this blue wire is coming from the antenna adapter. So the round part is going into the receiver right there. And then the other blue part, you have to splice because that's going to go into the harness right here, or else your antenna is not going to work. So I need to hook that up. Also, be very careful with these, the clips, because I was trying to reseat my harness A in the diagram and I accidentally broke one of those. So I had to splice and do all of this, and that wasn't fun. That took a little while. It took about 2 hours out of my day, and that's for the camera. But I mean, that doesn't matter. Just don't break your clips. I made sure the microphone was working and the antenna, and yeah, That's exactly what I needed. So now I'm going to take the trim up here apart, and I'm gonna feed my new microphone. I'm gonna take my old one out and feed it all the way down through there. I disconnected the battery next because you need to let it sit for an hour after disconnecting for the airbag. You don't want the capacitor to be charged and blow the airbag out. So I had to Google, these are going to come off your factory stereo, and they don't go into anything, okay? I had to research and make sure I was doing all this right. And apparently, so what I found out, one of them is for the factory GPS antenna, and the other one, hang on, it's not focusing right. The other one is for the factory satellite, so like Sirius XM. But so on the new one, I have GPS, so I don't need that. And with CarPlay, I can play Sirius XM through Apple CarPlay. So I don't need either one of those. So just let them fall back in there. And the new radio has GPS, which I have already wired in. It's wired through there. And then I actually went behind the vent over here and taped it right there. Behind that. That's my GPS. All right, so I've got it about 15 minutes before I can, you know, make sure my battery is completely uncharged. So just gonna show you how everything connects into the back of my personal JVC receiver. So let's see, okay, up here you've got, that connects the signal from the iDatalink module into the receiver so that all of your factory stuff will work on your new receiver. And then here you have the reverse cable. That is going to need to be hooked up on this. Make sure you don't hook that into anything else. You can mess it up. So, but that's so that when you go in reverse, it stops everything and turns on the camera. So you've got that. This is, I forgot what this, okay. This is a backup camera. Comes out of there and then goes into the module. These are the speakers, front, right and left. So gray goes there, white goes there. And then what else? You have the microphone, which I have unplugged to rewire it, but microphone that comes with your receiver is going to go in there. This is not used. Do not use the front view camera there. That's actually hooked in right there. Actually, no. Okay, so no, the front view camera is actually in one of the harnesses. So this is not used. This is your rear view camera. It's going to come off of something, I forgot. Oh, yeah, the harness that you get, one of the iDatalink harnesses. So that's your backup camera you're going to use. This is not used. What else? I've got, oh, the antenna, of course. So the, yeah, the antenna adapter that I got, that's the one that has like, the blue thing that I had to hook up right there. And that goes in there. What else? GPS antenna. And then that's like what really connects all of the working stuff between the module and the stereo. I was gonna try to take the GPS off and put it up there as well, but I taped it on, or it, you know, the adhesive that came with it is so strong, it's not gonna come off there, and it's fine. But what I am gonna do is, since the wire to the GPS is so long, I'm gonna fix it up and tie it to kind of make it a little neater in there. So I cleaned that up pretty nice. That's the GPS cord, runs back through there. Put it so it's going, I think, underneath the vent. But yeah, underneath the vent. So anyway, it can sit back in there a little bit neater because everything was all tangled up. Also, all of the white connectors are going to be connected to something. There was one that I couldn't find. It was like hidden down in there. That is not used. I thought that's what I was missing, but that is not used. Don't touch that. I think that's the airbag stuff. But you might have to dig and like look down there a little bit to make sure you have all of them. It was this one that I couldn't find. It was hidden down in there. Now I'm gonna take a look behind the dome, the overhead console. I couldn't get it out with some trim removal tools, so I watched some videos and it said you just pull down hard. Ugh. Okay, all right, that scared the hell out of me. Okay, there's 4 red clips. There's a harness and there's a microphone that I'm gonna replace. I removed the harness so I could work with it down here, and I unplugged the microphone. So this is what your factory microphone looks like. So that's the way I'm gonna have to mount the new microphone. And I think I might put some insulation around the microphone so not too much air is going into it when you're talking. So the factory microphone was in there so well, there wasn't air that could travel around it, and I wanted to make sure, you know, this microphone was kind of the same idea. So it doesn't look that great, but it's an old towel I had. I cut it up and kind of loosely put it around there to stop air from traveling around too much in there. Before you go any further, watch this video on how to remove the A-pillar, because there is an airbag behind there and it was too difficult for me to show with just one hand. So make sure you watch this video before you do anything else. I'll post a link to the video in the comments as well. All right, so this is becoming a huge pain in the ass. I took that out. I was gonna go just right back that way, but apparently the airbag goes all the way up through there, and I hit it, so I'm really hoping that it doesn't go off when I start the car. So I don't advise doing this. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is run the wire through the front right there. I took out one of the little clips. You'll have to watch a video on that. It was a pain in the ass. But I'm gonna go along the inside lining on top of the airbag. Okay, inside lining. And then I took the speaker off. So I'm feeding fishing wire tools through these holes to go underneath there. It's gonna go under here, which I had to take this off, and then through there. This is a huge pain in the ass. So I had to take the sun visor off, going through right up front there, and I'm going through right there because I don't want to hit the airbag. So I'm going to pull the cable out through there, and then I'm going to wrap it around along the inner line. Then I'm going to come underneath that. I'm going to weave it through underneath, come out behind there, and go through there. Step 1 complete. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to connect the head console up again. So I'm going to connect that harness back onto there, and then I'm going to clip this back up. All right, I'm making progress. So what I had to do, I went down here. I had to go behind that first one and come down, and then go back in to go underneath there. Unscrew the bolts, 10mm socket. Unscrew like the front one and maybe a little bit of the back one to get it loose. Take that wire, go underneath there. I did it. Got the wire. I'm not done, but I got the wire, the microphone wire, up through there with my fishing tools. So I'm almost done. I realized after I fed that through that it needs to go. There's actually another little place up in there so that it's tucked in right. You can't see it right here, but yeah, there's my finger. Okay, so it goes around through there, and then it's gonna go over the vent and through a hole right there, and then you got your microphone. Okay, I got the speaker back in. I got the airbag thing back in. It was a pain. It took a long time, and I'm still not sure it's in there right, and I'm really scared it's gonna blow when I turn the car on. So I don't advise doing this at home. Just stick your microphone on the dash. So I'm just going in reverse now. I'm putting the receiver back in. What the hell is that? 4 bolts, 10mm. As you can see, when I'm tightening it, it's kind of going unlevel. So just loosen one side, tighten the other a little bit more until you get it level. I'm gonna put the frame on with the clips on the sides. Then you're gonna put your air vents back in, line them up with the clips. Let's see. There it goes. All right, looking good. Now I'm gonna put the top piece back on and make sure it fits in the clips. They're right there. All right, I put the top piece back in. Has a clip right there, a clip right there, and there's one in the middle behind it. So make sure you get that one or it won't line up right. Now I'll just put the last trim panel piece back in. And last thing, reconnect the battery. Okay, I had to start it from the passenger seat because I was really scared that airbag was gonna blow on me. Yeah, I don't advise doing this if you don't have to. I would, in retrospect, I would pay to have somebody do this because that really scared the hell out of me. But anyway, so hit my speaker button. Show me my messages. Yay!
You have no new messages.
All right, so that's working. And then my radio, you can see the station I had before that wasn't coming in. It's working now, so my radio stations are all like they should be now.